Right friends, welcome back to newspaper editorial discussion, and today except 2-3 articles, some of these articles, remaining articles of the Hindu may not be of much, what I think they may not be useful much to you, and I have taken one Times of India article along with the 4 The Hindu articles. So 5 we are going to deliberate today. But after analyzing this editorial discussion for the past 4 months, I thought of one important aspect. Instead of going with one particular newspaper with regard to editorial discussion, and here the basic problem I observed is, sometimes authors are coming up with their own opinion, sometimes they may not be relevant also, and one side opinion is being projected several times. So, there are several drawbacks in the present system, and sometimes we are not able to project both the sides of the opinion. So, under these circumstances, I am thinking of bringing this in altogether different format from May 1. From May 1, I am thinking of bringing this editorial discussion in altogether different format by taking the important article. That means 2-3 important aspects comes to my mind. Please give your honest opinion. In my opinion, the Hindu sometimes, some of the articles are taking one side view. Then second point is, sometimes some of the articles may not be important from your examination perspective, and under these circumstances, it is better if we take rational view of both the sides of the opinion and formulating in a much detailed way. And for this I am thinking of 2-3 alternatives. The first alternative is looking at 3-4 newspapers and picking up important articles from editorials and op-ed pages, and based on the articles selected from these newspapers, it is better to have critical review of that particular topic, maybe in 2-3 slides. So, that way I think it will be much more beneficial to the student fraternity. So, please put forth your free and fair opinion. So, the present system of what we are discussing, editorials discussion, has got some drawbacks, as I honestly feel. So, please come up with your opinion, and I would like to redesign this from May 1st onwards, and there we can think of some mini capsules and editorial reviews, like that we can think of this from May 1st onwards. So, my intention is not to waste your precious time, because you are required to study several other subjects for various examinations, right. So, I am hopeful that from May 1 the new strategy will be much more beneficial to you. So, this week till Friday we will continue with this same analogy. Tale of 2 sections. This is one editorial of the Hindu. Tale of 2 sections. It is about 295A and 153A of Indian Penal Code. Here section 295A and another section is section 153A. Here the basic problem is, interpretation. There is a lot of scope for subjectivity. Normally, any law should not have much scope for subjectivity. It should be objective. But when you look at these 2 sections of IPC, the interpretation part is something which is difficult. That means courts are interfering on subjective basis. So, the Hindu editorial talks about there is a scope for subjectivity in these 2 laws, and courts must exercise restraint while taking the cases pertaining to these 2 sections of IPC. First one is section 295A. This is deliberate and malicious acts intended to outrage religious feelings or any class by insulting its religion or religious beliefs. So, this is totally subjective. What constitutes hurting the religious belief? Then you see 153A, this is promoting enmity between different groups. that is on the basis of religion, race, place of birth, residence, language, and doing the acts prejudicial to maintenance of harmony. So, these two are basically pertaining to religious harmony, and the article is with regard to the news report. Here the court quashed a criminal complaint against Dhoni under section 295A of IPC. Here the Supreme Court said that it only punishes the aggravated form of insult to religion when it is perpetrated with the deliberate and malicious intention to outrage the religious feelings of that class. So, for minor things, this 295A must not be inferred, that is the Supreme Court's opinion. So, the clause 295A, whatever we have discussed here, must be used when there is a clear cut case of malicious intention. The intention must be malicious, right, then only it should be implemented. If you look at 153A, several courts used it several times. In fact, this was invoked several times to harass writers, artists, and on free expression. Basic problem is interpretation is subjective in these two sections of IPC. Then for these two laws, the interpretation should be broad and should not be allowed to interpret to serve their narrow chauvinistic needs, right. So, this is about this 153A as well as 295A of IPC. Look at the next one, at war with itself, and here an attack on military base in Afghanistan by Taliban killed more than 140 people, and in this it is writing the editorial with the headline at war with itself, right. So, now if you look at Afghanistan, here 3-4 important things, please do not forget. India is associated with the construction of one highway long back in Afghanistan, and subsequently this Salma Dam, Afghan India Friendship Dam, this was inaugurated, otherwise known as Salma Dam. So, if someone is talking about the Salma Dam, this is in Afghanistan, built with India's assistance. Similarly, this Store Palace was also revived with India's support. Then the next one is Parliament of Afghanistan. This was constructed with India's support. So, India is quite actively associating with the reconstruction of Afghanistan, and Amritsar Declaration, it belongs to recent times. So, this Amritsar Declaration is basically with regard to the heart of Asia, or you can say Istanbul process. So, please do not forget, if someone is talking about heart of Asia conference is being held, basically the peace in Afghanistan is central to the peace in the entire region. The peace in Afghanistan is central to the peace in entire region. That is the meaning of this Heart of Asia conference. It is a part of Istanbul process, and recently Heart of Asia conference was held in Amritsar, and Amritsar Declaration basically focusing on terrorism was released. So, this is all history. Let us come back to the present issue. Why Afghanistan is not able to control Taliban? Why Afghanistan is not able to control Taliban? I gave 6 points. The first and the foremost point is, there are allegations that Taliban has got a bases in Pakistan. Taliban has got a basis in Pakistan, and its activities are supported by some elements in Pakistan. There are allegations that Taliban is supported by some elements in adjacent Pakistan. Then second point is, most important is, there is no coherent policy in controlling Taliban. Now, Taliban, this Afghanistan peace process is going on. In Afghanistan peace process also, there is no unanimity, there is no coherence. Some of the countries want Taliban to be included in the peace process. Some of the countries feel that Taliban is to be excluded in the peace process. So, there is no coherent policy as far as tackling Taliban is concerned. Then other point is withdrawal of troops by NATO, basically United States of America, withdrawn maximum troops and subsequently it created a vacuum and Afghanistan army is totally demoralized a lot and it is not able to tackle Taliban. It is demoralized altogether and it is not able to tackle Taliban. The next one is Taliban's power or influence. It occupied certain areas, it has got influence in other areas. Altogether, if you calculate Taliban's power or influence, it goes to almost half the country and it is getting support from rural hinterland also. And there is a lot of corruption in Afghanistan in government sector. And this is also basically supporting Taliban activities. And another important aspect is the governance structure in Afghanistan is quite weak and army is demoralized a lot. Under these circumstances, in 2016 alone, around 6,700 members of Afghan security forces lost their lives since the highest since 2001. So, it is not that easy to solve the problem of Taliban in Afghanistan. Right friends, look at towards complete justice at last. This pertains to Babri Masjid episode. After 25 years, the cases pertaining to L.K. Advani and others were revived by the Supreme Court. In this context, this article, I am not taking much time on this, and here I have given the history. Last week also I told you about the history of the case, Lucknow case, Rai Bareli case. One is against lakhs of unknown Karsevaks and the other one is conspiracy charges against some leaders. And this is the chronological history. There were two cases, 197 and 198, and subsequently on April 19, Supreme Court revives the CBI's conspiracy charge. And here too, from examination perspective, I told you last week also, Supreme Court got the power because of Article 142(1). Supreme Court can invoke Article 142(1) in the Constitution when it feels that it is necessary to do complete justice in any cause. Then Kalyan Singh, the present governor of Rajasthan, got the immunity. He was excluded from the revival of the charges because governor or president gets immunity as per Article 361(2) of the Constitution. No criminal procedures or proceedings whatsoever shall be instituted or continued against the president or governor. Right? This article cited certain procedural flaws, and in fact, the state government, the then state government has not taken much action, and there was inordinate delay at each and every level, including up to Supreme Court. So, that is why 25 years passed in Babri Masjid case. So, whatever points evident from this article, I have listed here. Please go through them. Look into the next one, the line between fiction and fact. The biggest problem nowadays we are facing is fake news. Fake news is becoming reality now. People are believing that they are the real news. So, this article is about fake news, how to come out of this. There must be some regulatory structure in the country to look at this aspect of fake news. And if you go through, this propaganda becomes news. The biggest problem in our country, across the world as a matter of fact, propaganda is becoming the news. The dangers of internet media are now beginning to be felt in our country. The dangers of internet media, we are feeling the pinch of it. Today we have 160 million WhatsApp users, 150 million Facebook followers and over 22 million Twitter accounts as per the news report. And here several lies are being circulated. they are not facts, several lies, sometimes opinions. There is nothing wrong in circulating the opinion. If my opinion is circulated, there is nothing wrong, but ultimately it should not become the fact, because somebody may differ with my opinion. So, here the line between opinion and fact is going away. Opinions are becoming facts. So, here the point is, several lies are being circulated by some WhatsApp groups, sending thousands of nationalist videos around the country every day, that is as per the news report. So, leave this particular aspect of nationalist videos, but if you talk in general terms, several videos are being circulated. Most of them may be opinions, may be lies, but the facts are insignificant number, right. So, under these circumstances, what is to be done and what are the present day problems? And here this article does not speak about what needs to be done, but something needs to be done immediately to control this menace of fake news, lies, opinions. They are being taken as facts. Here, when people have got no mechanism to verify them, they becomes a big problem. When people have got no mechanism to verify them, they become a big problem, and now people are looking to only private media for factual information. In good olden days, when you look at the news structure, we used to have the authentic news from the government through the government controlled broadcasting channels, whether it was radio or television. Now also radio and television are in existence. That government Doordarshan as well as All India Radio, they are very much there, but people are not bothering about those two channels. Now private channels proliferated, and as people only look to private media for factual information and news, chances are that a lie doing the rounds eventually establishes itself as truth. A lie, after doing rounds in social media channels, it ultimately becoming the truth. That is the irony today. The example is, it travels from Facebook, tweeted into shared accounts across thousands of unsure minds. The mind may be matured enough to look at it whether it is fake or real, and spreads like wildfire without proof or doubt, right. Then it completes its circle, and what happens in the process? In the process, what is being happened? Opinion is becoming a fact. So, belief becoming total. So, this is the basic problem we are facing today. So, fake news is nothing but it is a sort of Photoshop of words and ideas. It is nothing but a Photoshop of words and ideas, and in a world where there is no difference between broadcast journalism, print or social media, anything is capable of becoming the news, right. So, the basic problem is, it is not a crime to spread the opinion, but it is certainly a crime when it masquerades as real news. When it is becoming real news, that it is a crime, and there should be dividing line between opinion, facts. Otherwise, things are going to be still bad in the future to come, right. So, thought provoking article on the fake news, but this article is not spelling out what needs to be done in future, what regulatory mechanism is required. All these things this article is not revealing, but anyhow it is a thought provoking article. If you look at the fake news at present in the world, especially in our country, and our country is most vulnerable for fake news because of the literacy levels in some sections, and at the same time some of the brains are not matured in our country, and our education system is also not propagating rational thought. So, it assumed a lot of significance in our country. Then I have taken this from Times of India, stop crop burning. Here, this is the time when the Rabi crop wheat, please understand, wheat is Rabi crop and paddy is Kharif crop. So, wheat Rabi crop season is over, and now it is a harvesting season for wheat during the next few days, and wheat harvesting will end in Punjab and Haryana within a week, and farmers immediately to go for paddy cultivation, what they are doing? They are resorting to the stubble burning. This stubble, this burning is being taking place adjacent to Delhi, that is in Haryana and Punjab, and basically it is causing lot of air pollution. So, here farmers, they are in the intention of making the fields ready for paddy planting. They normally burn stubble, and this raises the dark smoke clouds quite far and wide, but the Environmental Pollution Control Board has already, Environment Pollution Control Authority has directed both the central state governments, that is Haryana and Punjab, to ensure that there is no wheat stubble burning, but it is very difficult to implement, right? And you may have a doubt, what is the problem with the burning of stubble? The problem with the burning of stubble is it results in raising of smog, and it is a public health hazard. Already the air quality in our cities is not up to the mark, and people are also not using protective masks. And when this stubble is burnt, lot many pollutants will be floating in the atmosphere, and at least masks are to be used, but public are not aware about the masks, and if at all they are aware about the masks, they are not available in sufficient number, and we do not have national air quality index mechanism in an extensive way, and air quality is being measured only in some select cities, that too only certain pollutants are only monitored, and the entire metropolis city of Mumbai has got only one air quality monitor station, whereas London has got 100 monitoring stations. So, this is the difference between our country and Western countries. So, what needs to be done? The fundamental point is what needs to be done in the long run and in the short run. And in the long run, the most important aspect is government should commercialize the stubble for animal feed. This aspect is to be thought of. Second important point is waste to energy concept. So, power generation by using this stubble, when power generation is propagated by using this stubble, then farmer will never resort to burning of this stubble. Then the stubble can be used in packaging and paper industry. This can be used, basically these 3 points government should think of in the long run, and most important is these 2 aspects. This waste to energy, that means this stubble can be used for generating power, and the next one is this stubble can be used for packaging and paper industries. And if you look at in the short run, as a short term measure, government can think of giving some subsidies for agricultural implements. The farmers, to prevent burning of the stubble, when farmers are purchasing some agricultural implements, then government must support with the subsidy mechanism. That is one aspect that can be undertaken in the short term, and government can also look at giving equipment that can sow seeds without the need to remain the remains of the stubble. Without taking out the remains of the stubble, a mechanism can be devised where sowing of the seeds can be done, and special machines are available for that, and government should propagate purchase of such machines. And nowadays there are several aspects with regard to granting subsidies. The mechanism is quite cumbersome. They have to go from pillar to post for getting the subsidy, and the mechanism pertaining to subsidy must be simplified, and this cumbersome formalities must be removed. So, these are the aspects basically to prevent the burning of stubble, right friends. We discussed today, because in the Hindu some of the articles are not that important from your examination perspective, and from May 1st onwards I will modify this entire process so that it will be highly useful to all types of students. And in fact, after analyzing 3-4 newspapers, I will come up with each and every issue, pros and cons, and there I will try to quote the newspaper editorial also, so that you can go through that if you want further information. So, that mechanism may be definitely highly beneficial to the student fraternity, and please put forth your opinion. Here basically what I am finding is, we are not able to go into various newspapers, and one particular newspaper if we are following, all the articles may not be useful to you, and no doubt in the Hindu 60% of the articles will definitely be useful to you, but sometimes it may give one side of the opinion, and taking the Hindu as the anchor newspaper will continue to be the Hindu. At the same time, by looking at other newspapers also, if we come to some sort of broad based capsule with regard to pros and cons of any particular issue, probably that may be highly beneficial to you. Right friends, with this let us conclude editorial discussion. Please do join for other modules and capsules. Have a nice day. Thank you.